predicted on the show that we're going to see a 3-0 win thanks to Godwin, but Man City did one better, scoring a 4-0 win. And in that game, it was a fantastic game. Nobody expected anything other than a win for Manchester City, and that's awesome, delivering on the goods, looking forward to the title. So it's going to be a very close race, and I think it's a good thing for football, especially in the Premier League.
So, Joe, Godwin, what do you think? Arsenal against Man United last night.
The game was fantastic. Arsenal played the best they could play. It was a 50-50 for me. Arsenal was playing safe throughout the game. They didn't want to attack too much. They didn't want to just defend. They were just containing Manchester United because Manchester United they play transition football, counter-attacking football. So Arsenal didn't even give them the chance to play any kind of football like that. So they played well. Saliba and Gabriel did fantastic job.
Well,
They stayed with their man.
we talked about the game with Man United, how their players were coming back from injury, but we were surprised not to see any of those players come
Yeah,
back.
when we're having this conversation on Saturday, if someone was saying that we're going to see a lot of players coming back, we're going to see Licha, we're going to see some other players coming into the squad, but we did not see anything short of a disaster for Manchester United. Manchester United, though I give them kudos for having the fighting spirit. At least in the Old Trafford, the theatre of dreams, you're supposed to put up a match. You're supposed to come out. You're supposed to attack the Arsenal side. But what do you think about Arteta's wisdom in that game yesterday? The normal Arteta would play his normal football, go
No,
out,
they are
attack,
playing,
attack,
he's,
attack,
he's
attack.
playing safe. He just needs to score 1-0. Arsenal has a good defense. Their defense is fantastic. What they need to do is to just score one goal and just balance the game. Just keep the game in a normal pace. So if you attack too much and then these guys play counter-attacking football and score you one, they are going to defend and you're going to lose the game. So I think Arteta did well to contain this game. For the first time in a long while, his position was less than Manchester United, but he didn't mind.
Yeah, I agree with you on that count, but I'm just saying we saw that it happened to what's their name now, Bayern Munich against Real Madrid. One goal is not enough to close out a game, but
But for Arsenal this season,
let's say
it's enough. It's
it
enough.
was enough because Manchester United were
Manchester
basically
United.
Manchester United.
On the show on Saturday morning before that game, I think Bowe said something about the game. He said, if you can stop Arsenal from getting a goal in the first 20 minutes of the
Well,
game.
how do you stop an Arsenal side that is rampant right now in the Premier
I
League?
think you
It's
saw how they
difficult
stopped
to
them
stop,
against
yeah.
Aston Villa. You saw
Yeah.
how they stopped them against Aston Villa. You saw how they stopped them against Bayern
Aston
Munich.
Villa was a one-off.
It was a one-off,
Aston
and the
Villa
coach
was a
made a
one-off
mistake too.
actually.
He plays Havertz as CM again.
Okay,
And
let's
after that game, he reverted back to
that's
normal
that's
formation.
like someone was saying, a close friend of mine was saying that had Arteta not tried to mix match in the beginning of the season, tried to test some unfounded tactics in the beginning of the season, Arsenal would have won the league by now, would be sipping Mai Tais and doing something else. But
And
that's a different ball.
we talked about some other teams like Burnley fighting for their lives at the relegation battle, and we saw them come against Tottenham, give a performance, but they still came short in that game. They lost 2-1 against Tottenham Hotspur at the Tottenham Stadium.
I think one of the biggest mistakes, what's his name now, Vincent
But,
Company, who is a legend of the game, a City legend. As a City fan, you can't do better than the Vincent Company. But one of the mistakes he made coming into the Premier League was thinking that the same crop of players coming up from the Championship were enough to do the job. Obviously, you can't make that mistake twice. You have to bring in stronger hands. You have to make signings that will come and take your games to the next level, because the Premier League is not the same as the Championship, and it's sad to see because he brought Burnley back. I wanted to see Burnley stay here next season, grow to be a mid-table team at best, given the funding they have. But I think it's a learning curve for this company. It's not the end, but it is what it is basically.
Let's go back to the results. On Saturday, we had Fulham take on Man City, and they lost 4-0 with some red cards in that game. We have Everton take on Sheffield United, and they won. Everton came out of that game 1-0, 1-0. We have West Ham United take on Luton Town, and West Ham United won 3-1 after coming back from behind. We have Bournemouth take on Brentford, and they couldn't do the magic. They couldn't hold their own stadium. They lost at their home ground. We have Wolverhampton Wanderers take on Crystal Palace, and Crystal Palace came out with that game even with a red card, 3-1. We have Tottenham Hotspur against Burnley, and Tottenham Hotspur won 2-1. We had Newcastle held to a stalemate against Brighton. We have Nottingham Forest lose to Chelsea 3-2. We have Man United lose to Arsenal 1-0. And today we have Aston Villa taking on Liverpool today. And the table as it stands is Arsenal on top with 1 point, 86 points, and Man City in the second place with 85 points. Liverpool with third, 78. Aston Villa, surprise of the season, they've got 67 points. Tottenham Hotspur are 63 points actually, and Newcastle United are 58 points, same point level with Chelsea on the 7th place, 57
I think
points.
Arsenal should just keep the seat one for Man City because.
And I think for Sheffield United, their hopes are sealed. They are relegated already. Burnley, their hopes are sealed. But we have one more fight for Luton Town, who actually are 26 points, 3 points behind Forest and Nottingham Forest.
Just one game.
We just are going to go down. They are going to go down. And funniest part is 3 of the teams that came up last season, and 3 of them are going back to
which means they didn't have enough fighting. They didn't have enough fuel in
that's
their
the thing. But you can't blame some of these clubs when you're coming up into the Premier League. When you get that golden ticket, which comes with financing, most of these clubs just feel that with the squad they have, with what they've done in the Championship, they are good to go. Let them take that money and invest maybe into infrastructure, balance the books or something else. But you're coming into the Premier League, the Premier League is a totally different ball game, and you need to invest that money. You need to invest in the squad because injuries definitely going to come. You are going to face better opponents, and I just feel like some of these clubs will I say they shoot themselves in the foot because they do not invest into the squad?
All the Premier League get almost the same kind of amount of money. All of them. I don't know how much it is, but most of them they share it mostly. But that's why Premier League is more balanced than other leagues. Like Spanish La Liga, Real Madrid and Barcelona gets more of the TV rights money. But definitely. In Premier League, they share it among themselves. That's why you can see a Nottingham Forest buying a 30 million player. Even Burnley bought about 50 million players.
You also have the effects of investors. Newcastle United.
Don't also forget that depending on where you finish in the Premier League table, there's a certain amount accrued to you,
but
which is not equal to other teams. But what I'm saying is, coming up into the Premier League, these 3 teams get a big fat check. And why would a club you're looking to break into the Premier League, unless they're not looking to break into the Premier League and stay there, that money should have been invested into their squads.
For me, after the first half of the season, I just knew that because both of them had stayed on that relegation for almost all the season. So I know they are going to go out. So luckily for them, I don't think that Luton will going to do anything finally. I don't think so. Nottingham Forest will survive.
Well, you can join the conversation on YouTube. We're live on YouTube at Vote 104 Vote FM Sports, and you can also join us on Facebook at Vote 104.3 FM on Facebook, and you can also join the conversation by calling the number 0706 048 5853. I repeat the number again, 0706 048 5853. Let's get back to the game for today. Aston Villa against Liverpool.
Aston Villa is playing for Champions League football. Emery have done a fantastic job this season. They beat Arsenal. They beat Arsenal at home. They drew at home to Arsenal too. So they have played a lot of games. Even their form in the last 5 games have not been fantastic. They have won 2 games out of the last 5 games. But they are sitting pretty 4 points ahead of Tottenham, so who play Manchester City tomorrow. So they just need to win their last game. Win your last game and you are there. Win your last game and you are there. So Tottenham have to win. They must win Manchester City for them to have a chance on the final day of the season. So for me, they have to play Liverpool. Liverpool, they have lost this league title already. They are not actually looking for playing for anything again for the last 2 games now. They play today and play on the final day. They are just going to play for fun. So for Aston Villa, they have everything to play for. They just need to get a draw. Get a draw from this game and bam, they are playing Champions League next year.
Well, that's
Next
what
season.
you say. That's what you say. But you see, we've had time. Emery has had time to build the team. From last season, they were battling against maybe middle table team, but this season they've gone to the
He's done well.
Europa Conference League, finishing
Yeah,
eighth last season.
Emery has done well. It cannot be overstated. You know, he's done well. I think one of the things he's done is just come in and, take everyone at the club, all the players. You know, there were a couple of talks last season as the season was ending, who's going, who's leaving. Arsenal were coming for the likes of Douglas Luiz. A couple of other players were talking about leaving. He came in, sat the squad down, galvanized the players, got everybody on board. So I'm actually excited to see what types of business he's going to be doing in the summer to strengthen the team for playing Champions League football as well as playing the other three competitions taking place in the Premier League.
I think they are going. His pressure is going to be much on him next season. I don't think he's going to make top 4 next season because, for instance, Chelsea is expected to play well next season. Manchester United, they had a lot of injuries. They are going to buy players and they're probably fight for that top
So
4.
you're literally just saying that the competition is going to get stiffer.
Yes, it's stiffer, and Aston Villa will not make top 4 this season.
Would you now, on this note now, write off Emery's season as maybe they're there because other key squads didn't do as well?
You can't,
would you
because
write them off as that? Because
this is a coach that took Arsenal to the what's it called
Europa League
final one time like that, and he did wonderful. He just lost it against Chelsea. This is another coach that has come into Aston Villa when they were fighting the division, and they are now playing the Europa Conference League semi-finals, which they lost against Olympiacos the other day. You could see that he has a trajectory. He's going forward. He's trying to make a team that will contend for the big leagues, and you will know that.
Well, I think he's going to show his mettle or prove his worth or earn his stripes for the performance they had this season by doing something phenomenal next season. Because
why I'm not write them off completely. The same thing was said about Arsenal last season. Everybody said that it's going to be a one-off.
Yeah.
Everybody is going to strengthen it, and they are going to struggle for third, fourth. So you don't actually write off these teams. They might still contest for the top 4 next season, which is actually pretty good for Aston Villa.
Which is also good for the league.
Let's leave the Premier League and let's talk about La Liga. We have tough games last weekend in the La Liga. We have Alves take on Girona, 2-2 draw. It was a 2-2 draw on Friday night. We've got Mallorca lose to Las Palmas. We've got Villarreal win against Sevilla 3-2 on Saturday. We had Granada lose to Real Madrid, and that was when they had a heavy loss. That was a 4-0 lose to Real Madrid. We had a draw against Atletico Club Bilbao and Osasuna. It was a 2-2 draw. We have Cadiz win against Getafe. That was a surprise of the weekend. We have Atletico Madrid win 1-0 against Celta Vigo, and we have Real Sociedad play a stalemate against Rayo Vallecano. We have Real Betis win against Almeria 3-2. And today, Barcelona will be taking on Real Sociedad. And we already announced the champion on this show about 3 days ago, Real Madrid, 90 points on the table. And second place, revelation of the season, Girona. 75 points, with Barcelona, 73 points, and Atletico Madrid, 70 points.
Girona have just disrupted the La Liga, When you look at, we were talking about it just earlier, you were talking about the pay structure in the La Liga, having teams, 80% of the teams earning way lower than Real Madrid and Barcelona. But for Girona to come in, disrupt the league this season, the other teams have done it, Atletico Madrid did so some years back.
Atletico Madrid is a powerful club,
and they have great.
They are a powerful club.
At the set time, I
think this all started in 2011 or 2012 when Simeone took over, and it changed the whole settings of the Atletico Madrid.
And then there was also a crop of young players coming into the Atletico Madrid side that actually did well. Help them break that barrier. So it's a good thing to see Girona breaking the barrier this season, but are they going to keep hold of their star players, or are they going to cash out and maybe go back to playing mid-table next season? That's the question.
No.
I don't think so.
They've had a good structure too. Good structure today. They had heavy investors. Citigroup already taking over the place, and you see them buying in players, and you can see talent, especially that left back. What's his name again? he did wonderful. He has been performing very, and Miguel in center midfield. Come on, they've been creating chances, they've been playing, and I think
They've
they'll
been
just have
scoring
to have
goals.
they just have to add some little players to the team and make them strong. Like,
But Barcelona will come back strong next season. So let's watch out for the team.
I'm not too sure. Barcelona. Basically because of
let's before we talk about Barcelona, they have a game at hand today, and they'll be taking on Real Sociedad. What do you think, John? Because you're saying you're not too sure about next season.
Yeah, like for me, when we talk about Barcelona, we have to put things in perspective, knowing they are still under heavy debt, knowing that the financial muscle is no longer there, knowing that also there's a lot of toxicity in the club, with what's his name, Xavi saying he's leaving only for him to come back and turn the decision around. So there's a lot of uncertainty hanging over Barcelona. But against a Real Sociedad squad, I think it's a walkover for Barcelona, basically.
I think the whole thing about Barcelona is still their structure, is still their management. They are not, I don't think they have a proper plan. If you look at Real Madrid, they have a proper plan. They know when to buy players. They know when to buy loan players. They know even the Jeruso is on loan, so they know how to manage these things. They know they have been talking about Mbappe. Now they are getting Mbappe for free. Look at all the investments Barcelona have done for the past 5 years.
Wasted lots of money.
A lot of money.
How much money was spent on
Ousmane
Dembele when they lost?
I keep saying they wasted Messi's prime.
Yes.
They wasted Messi's prime because they had a whole lot of things to do. Messi was probably carrying the whole thing. Why they were investing 100 million for Coutinho, buying a Dembele for
125 million euros.
I don't even understand the kind of investment they are doing. For me, sometimes I think it's money laundering they are doing there. I'm just saying. But if you look at the way Madrid is planning most times to buy players that they can resell.
Definitely.
They buy players that can fit into their squad. They don't just buy players because they want to buy players. So I think for Barcelona, they need to get that. For example, look at Xavi saying that he's leaving. Suddenly he's saying that okay, I'm saying after speaking to the manager, I'm staying again. You see, there are uncertainties in this club. It looks like they don't really know what they are doing. But let's watch out for them next season. Probably miracle might happen for them.
We've had, like you said, miracle might happen for Barcelona last season. But last night, Real Madrid took on Granada and they came out 4-0. We've got Ferran Garcia scoring a goal. Adlagula, who's always been on the bench since the beginning of this season, scoring a goal. And Brahim Diaz. Come on, look at you. This is what we've been saying about the Real Madrid team. Whenever you take out a player, there's always two players that are there to replace that person.
And look at this team that play for Real Madrid. Most of them is their second team players. They cruise them. Everybody is resting because they have a Champions League final. They don't need injuries now. They don't need injuries now. So they have to play some Ceballos. They have to play some players that have not played for a while. Bring into the team. They still want fun. His structure. The coach knew what he wanted at the beginning of the season. They knew the players they needed at the beginning of the season. They got it there, and they are playing fantastic football. They don't really play possession-based football. They just want to score and win the game. Ancelotti said it clearly. I am here to win games. I am not here to give young players, try out young players or try out something that he is there to win games, and he has been winning games. That's what I expected Barcelona to do. You are here to win games. Play and win games. So if you look at it, they have played Granada from start to finish, and they won 4-0 comfortably. They were even struggling in that game. I saw the game. They were probably having fun. So, but Real Madrid actually did well this season. They are deserved champion of La Liga, and probably next season they will win too, because Mbappe is coming.
Okay, this Mbappe coming, and I think he made an announcement in the weekend that he's not taking any contracts from Premier League teams, and I think Liverpool has been poaching, Man United and Arsenal
he can't go for it. He can't
poaching
go to
as well.
He should come to Arsenal. He should come. Let them give him on number 14 shirt. Then you can even create a status for him. Once he enters they will
number 14 shirt. Yes, he's scoring 14 goals a season. No,
he cannot score. He cannot score 14 goals. He's going to replace Thierry Henry.
Come on.
What are you saying?
Well, enough of that. Let's go to the Bundesliga. The Bundesliga was heavy. Bayern Munich won against Wolfsburg yesterday, and before we enter into that, we'll go on a break and we'll get you shortly.
Also, you're absolutely boring. I don't know what you're doing there.
Sports.
Alex Iwobi gets the ball out to the left-hand side. The delivery comes
You
in.
need anything from us to do.
Entertainment. News and politics.
Aerospace without nothing from bad.
Oh, 1 minute to come back.
Gospel.
And let them have it. The kingdom of God is within people.
Odinibo.
Awesome programs exclusively on
Vote 104.
Here's what I found.
And we're back, and you can join us on Facebook at Vote 1043 FM. You can also join us on YouTube at Vote FM Sports. We are live now on YouTube at Vote FM Sports, and you can join us on Facebook at Vote 104.143 FM. And you can also join the conversation calling on 0706 048 5853. 0706 048 5853. And before we get into that, let's talk about the Bundesliga. The Bundesliga was tough. Augsburg, we talked about it on Friday, lost against Stuttgart. Mönchengladbach played a draw against Eintracht Frankfurt, and Cologne won against Union Berlin. Freiburg played a 1-1 draw against Heidenheim. Leipzig played a draw against Werder Bremen, and Dortmund surprisingly lost against Mainz. Dortmund lost against Mainz. We have Bayern Munich winning against Wolfsburg 2-0, and we have the undefeated, the people that are still waxing strong, come on to win 5-0 against the VfL Bochum, 5-0. And what do you talk about? Let's talk about Bayern Munich for now. You see them coming out of some games strong. You see them playing a flat football. We don't know what to expect from Bayern Munich. John.
Yeah. Bayern Munich, they have a little issue with their games sometimes. They come out flat-footed sometimes, and then on the other hand, some other games they have a phenomenal game. So you can't really predict this Bayern Munich side, though they've been scoring goals for fun and all of that. But I think this season is just a shocker, and they will bounce back next season and come out perhaps even stronger than they were this season.
But I keep saying the only reason Bayern didn't do well this season is their defense. Somehow, the brought team came. Still, they are conceding goals. They are losing games. I couldn't understand the whole thing. They have a Hurricane that has scored almost 45 goals for them, and they are not winning games. So the whole problem is not up front, it's their defense. So they need to fix that defense next season. If not, Liverpool are on top, and they are not looking to slow down. So if they don't put their acts together, they are not winning in next season. And sorry for Hurricane, you go two seasons as Bayern without winning.
Let's hope it doesn't get to that.
Without a trophy. And we're talking about Leverkusen now, the revelation of the season. They've been fantastic so far. I don't think if it's the players we should give credit to, or is it the coach we should give credit to? Because most of these players,
50,
if you ask
50
me,
games unbeaten is not.
if you ask me, I will tell you most of these players I don't know them from the onset. I never knew any of these players, and I will tell you for a fact that these players have come in. You saw the lineups from last game. They came in to win 5-0, and Victor Boniface also scoring again. Like, who is this guy? Where is he from? How does he manage to keep scoring goals like this?
You see, let's just take it a step notch down. Boniface has been phenomenal for this side, but then when he's been injured, he should have had more goals scored this time of the season than he has currently. But you can't take it away from him. He's been away on injury. But this is what is expected when you have a side that the defense, the midfield, the entire unit is functioning. You create opportunities. and you have the man himself who has all the tools in his toolbox, to put the ball away either via a spot kick or by creating those chances and scoring those goals. So this is what happens when you have a unit that is functioning, that is together, that is energetic, that can create the opportunities, that can move the ball around. They pass the ball so beautifully to watch, and they are scoring goals for fun. The league title is done and dusted, but they are still pushing on, trying to close out more games.
They want to finish the whole season beating.
And we saw that happen in the Serie A as well, with Inter Milan still going ahead.
These people are doing the whole season. This is their 50th game of the season. 50 games unbeaten. So they want to continue that. I think they have only one more game in the league, one more game for their German Cup, and the Europa Cup final. So if you look at Liverpool as a whole, I have not seen any team that plays 3 defense, 4 midfielders, and 3 attackers that play possession-based football. Most teams set up to play defensive when they play, because when you are with the ball, the three defense turns into a back 5. Yes. But now they don't really bother. They just play their football. They don't really bother if you are attacking them or they just play their football and their win game. Xhaka has been the revolution this season. He has been the controller general. He just took the form from last season. He played with Arsenal last season. He took the form to Liverpool and he has transformed the whole midfield. They brought in Boniface, and Boniface scored a penalty. Our own personal Boniface. He played a fantastic game too, and they won comfortably. I think most of their games they have won pretty comfortable, and they are now having this Manchester City fear in German Bundesliga. I see team go out now and attack Bayern Munich. Last three seasons, nobody could actually attack Bayern Munich. But now everybody is attacking Bayern Munich. You see them playing with fear.
Yes.
See them playing with fear. I'm asking myself, is it Bayern Munich? Because most people don't even watch German Bundesliga. They don't watch Bayern Munich, because you are just asking who win. How many goals Bayern Munich score? Because but now everybody is interested. Did they win? But now Liverpool is doing the same thing. Every team is afraid to play them, including Bayern Munich.
Yes.
Including Bayern Munich, so every team is. I hope they continue next season, because Alonso have done a fantastic job.
Yes.
I hope he's continuing.
Maybe another replacement.
If it's been, I will not sign anybody, because most times signing players might sometimes disorganize your team. Most times,
but what do you do now when you move into the season next year and then you lose a key player for your side?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. His job is not to sell any player. I keep telling people, for you to maintain a fantastic team, I'll give you an example with Chelsea. Chelsea never sold any big players. From 2003 till almost when they started selling Mata, Touré, and all that. But if you look at that team, they did not sell anything. They didn't sell Drogba, they didn't sell Lampard, they didn't sell Terry.
So
they kept the core team.
If
you look at Arsenal again, last season, they didn't sell any big players. Normally, 5 years ago, when Arsenal was still looking for money, they just sell their big stars. If you look at Manchester City, they have not sold any player they don't want to release for the past 5 seasons. So the key here is not to sell any player. Don't sell your key players, please. Leave them. You can add. I'll find, for example, add somebody like a Rice to your team. It changes your team. It moves your team forward. Don't go and sell. Imagine us selling Saliba this season.
No, that would be the.
Do you understand? So Alonso is going to do.
They should sell him to Manchester City. Of course, we'll gladly take him off your hands.
No. He should stay. It's our Rolls Royce. We call him Rolls Royce for a reason. Okay. So I think the one best thing Bayer Leverkusen should do is not to sell any key players. Let them stay one more season and they can now sell.
Just because I've been looking at that team, and I think if Granit Xhaka goes on injury, I don't think there's any suitable replacement for him.
That's what we are saying. When you have a formula that's working,
anybody can replace anybody.
Yeah, but then you also need to know that for you to make the next step in the game, to transition from a one-season wonder to a consistent dynasty in the football game, you need to bring in key players. You need to bring in extra hands to come
They
in
should-
and
they should
steady
buy-
the
they
ship
should buy
when
from
they have
Bayern Munich.
when
No,
they
Bayern
have
Munich have been doing it all
injuries.
these years.
I don't think
They-
Munich would want to sell.
Yes, but I know,
Leandro
I know,
Trossard
but
to
that what they
And-
have
But
been
then
doing.
another thing they could go for is to buy young underrated players and
Exactly,
bring
that's
them
what I'm
into
saying,
the
that's
squad.
what-
Look out for one or two eggheads to bring into the team that are going to add value to the system, the style of play they want to play, and maybe one or two strikers. Next season
No, I think they are-
really can tell.
For me, I think they should just leave their team, buy a player that can elevate the team to the next level.
Definitely.
Because they are playing Champions League next season. Champions League is not Europa Cup, and definitely Bayern Munich will come out strong next season.
Okay.
Because they will not have, they will not lose the league back to back, so they will come out fighting. They might even buy more strikers. They might buy anything they want to buy because they have the funds.
You know,
they have the
but
money.
Bayern Munich spending money is not going to fix the problem they have, because they have a problem right.
Coach, they need to get a coach first.
They need to get
We're
a
talking about-
not
we're
just
talking
saying, and I was really, really disappointed when they let this young man go. What's his name now?
Julian.
Yes,
Julian
yes,
Nagelsmann.
yes. When they let Nagelsmann go, I felt that was a very bad move for somebody who's won the league, who's won a lot of titles, who's brought this squad together. There's something about managers that can galvanize a squad, that can get everybody to buy in and commit to the vision, and then managers who just feel they can come in and put their impression on a squad without giving care for what those players are going through and are experiencing in the team. So I think when you have a manager like a Xabi Alonso, when you have a manager like a Nagelsmann, when you have a manager like a Mikel Arteta, you shouldn't disrupt the team's progress by feeling maybe you can bring in somebody to the club that can take them to a higher level. Because sometimes to do phenomenal well in football, in sports, you just need to keep what's working and build upon it little by little, not by making sudden changes that disrupt the team, because they are paying the price. By the board of Bayern Munich are paying the price for this season's losses by making that move last season.
I think the worst thing they did is to sell, change their coach last season.
Yes.
And Tuchel won the league because Dortmund bottled it. It's not necessarily because they play fantastic, and they left it this season thinking probably they will improve. I think they're not doing pretty well.
Yes.
They haven't been generally managed for the first time. They didn't buy smart, even though they bought Harry Kane, which is okay. But other players they brought in didn't really play well.
It didn't raise the level of their game
yes.
to another level.
And again, I think Neuer is still a good goalkeeper, but for now they should be thinking about bringing a player that will take over from him.
They should be looking at bringing in a Andre Lunin or bringing in some other goalkeeper to
think of the
support.
average age of the team. They've got almost everybody's above 28.
It's above,
On that
that's
team,
what I'm
everybody
saying.
in that team is above
Kimmich,
28.
They are
Except for what's it called, David Alfonso Davis and maybe
Antella.
maybe one other two players. But every other person in that team is above 28 above 28 years.
So they need to buy smart this season.
So
buy young
scarcity
German
of,
players.
Now that where the problem is now, there is a scarcity
So
of
coaches.
coach.
That's the
Who do
thing.
you think will replace Thomas Tuchel in that team?
Definitely.
They should bring Mourinho, Jose. I'm voting for Jose. Do you know why?
I wouldn't.
Let
I
me-
wouldn't support bringing in Jose Mourinho into the Bayern Munich setup. If you're bringing in a Mourinho, you just want somebody that can come in for 2-3 years and do a job.
That's what they need now.
But that's not what Bayern need.
I think that's what they need
Bayern
to.
need to consolidate upon what they have by bringing in a coach like Xabi Alonso that can come in and build a dynasty for the next 10, 5, 8 years up front, rather than just bringing in a stopgap. That's what Thomas Tuchel was. Thomas Tuchel was a stopgap to Nagelsmann, who left. And that's the truth.
Well, we talk enough about the Bundesliga, Bayern Munich. Let's talk about this Serie A. With such interesting results. Our man couldn't get a goal on Saturday. They lost. Napoli lost against Bologna 2-0. Inter Milan and AC Milan, they've been battling for the top two. They just, if not that Inter Milan has won the trophy, I would say AC Milan, we should just give it to AC Milan because they've been strong as well. They've been waxing strong. They won the game against Cagliari 5-1. They won against Lazio, played against Empoli, and they came out strong 2-0. Girona played against Sassuolo and won 2-1. Verona lost against Torino. Juventus, I don't know what's wrong with Juventus this
that was a
season.
surprising result.
They played a 1-1 draw against Salernitana. Atlanta came up strong. Come on, these are surprising results. And Atlanta, who we know.
But you know, you shouldn't be surprised when you see an Atlanta side winning against AS Roma. You shouldn't be surprised because Atlanta has been a revelation this season in the Serie A. You can't take it away from them. You can't take it away from their setup. And you know, you will look into the game and you see more components of the game, but they've been doing fantastic job at Atlanta, and I'm hoping they can give a push and you know go ahead and win their game against Leverkusen.
Liverpool, the Europa League final.
Yes.
No, it won't happen.
Okay.
That one will not happen.
We'll see.
Liverpool is winning.
We'll
I think
see.
the most surprising result here is Napoli losing at home. I don't really know what went wrong with Napoli. They won the league and they started going down. I can't explain what happened to them. I think they need to sit down, go back to drawing board and find out what happened. They didn't
We know
sell
what
any key player.
happened.
They just
That's what happened. That's
No,
what
no.
what I mean
No.
when you have coaches that come in vision of the club, they come in, they galvanize the team and they are pushing in one direction. That's what happened. You know,
they have lost 11 games this season. 11 games this season.
You know,
So
when a coach that won you your first trophy in about 100 years.
why
announces
is it so
leaving
hard
next
for
season
for
in
for
January?
clubs to keep hold of good hands?
yes, I know, but it happened. He left. But what I'm saying is that a coach leaving most times is not the problem. Look at Chelsea. Chelsea have been sacking players, and the team kept on winning. Apart from
Because
this
Chelsea
final,
kept the core squad.
that's what I'm
Chelsea
saying.
kept the core
Napoli
backroom
didn't sell
staff.
anybody. They didn't sell anybody. That's what I'm saying. They didn't sell
Backroom
anybody.
staffs left.
Yeah, some of
That's-
them.
that's
Okay,
what I'm
because
talking
took
about.
some of them, fine. But what I'm saying is that for them to be 8 on the table is unacceptable. For me, it's not acceptable.
I think Napoli caused their downfall this season. Definitely. Because you let go somebody who came in, who won the league for you. How many years? You know, we were talking about it a few weeks ago. How many years without a trophy? Somebody came in, galvanized the boys, built a good team, won the league title, won silverware, and then you feel like, okay, moving on to the next. What do you get? You get what you get in this season. And they are lucky not to be outside the top half of the table.
Inter Milan playing on Friday, we talked about it. Marcos Thuram making his father proud, scoring the goal. Lautaro Martinez coming in as a substitute as well and creating a chance and scoring a goal for himself. Would you say these two players are just the team or the strikers to fear because they've been fantastic, they've been doing wonders, and you saw Lautaro Martinez bringing out the best of Lukaku when Lukaku was at Inter Milan. But this season is also trying to bring out the best.
He's the top scorer.
Lautaro Martinez, you can't take it away from him, and that does not dull the shine of Marcos Thuram. I feel like if you watch that game, they had the opportunity to rest a couple of players and bring on some other players who have been, you know, on the sidelines of the squad, and they were able to come in the club. You have it's kudos to Inter Milan. They were able to turn that game a huge 5-0 win, you know, and kudos to them doing that away from home, having won the league. That shows the hunger in the team, that shows the desire to win, the desire to push on, the desire to get results, you know. And I think that's good mentality from Inter Milan, if I must say.
With 2 games to go now, they already announced champions, they're giving them the trophy
But they are
already,
still turning
and they are
in
still turning
incredible results. You
Okay.
know, that's the quality of champions. Consistency over time.
And let's talk about how it is on the low. We have Inter Milan, who's champions, 94 points. We have AC Milan with 74 points. That's a gap. And we have another team that nobody really talks about them. Bologna are being third on the table with 67 points.
It's true. Their coach Thiago. They are playing Champions League next season.
They're playing Champions. They already qualified for Champions League next season. People don't really see the difference when a small team comes into the mix and make a difference and changes the.
You know, most people don't really watch Serie A, so they don't really know the story. Except probably like Liverpool, because that they are going maybe top 2. But now they are playing Champions League. Is good for the club. It's good for the money. They will get money to invest. So Thiago Motta really done a great job.
Let's talk about the table first. Then we'll go back to the Bundesliga. You talked about Leverkusen there. We have 4th on the table. Juventus, who has received point deduction, same point with Bologna. They are 67 points. We have Atlanta 63 points. Roma 60 points. Lazio 59 points, and Napoli 51 points as well. These are the top 8. Then in the relegation battle, we have already relegated Salernitana, Sassuolo at 29 points, Salernitana at 16 points, and they already announced them. We have Udinese, who are 30 points, and we have Empoli and Frosinone 32 points apiece. And you say the battle for relegation is still open with 2 games to go.
Yeah, I really hope Udinese have an opportunity to escape relegation. They've been a side that has been in the league for a couple of seasons now. Maybe they sold 1 or 2 players and hence they are taking a dive this season. But I hope they survive the relegation battle this season.
Yeah, we're talking about coaches and coaches that has made a difference. Well, let's go back to the Bundesliga. We saw the log, and it was Leverkusen, Bayern Munich, and Stuttgart. Stuttgart is a team that was battling relegation 2 years ago. They almost relegated, and last season they almost relegated as well, escaping relegation point with just maybe 2 points. And this season they are in the 3rd position in the Bundesliga. Don't you think there's something to talk about in that game or in their process this season?
Yes, Stuttgart has played well too. They have the coach has done a fantastic job too. He has played his games. That's what I'm saying. Bring a coach that has a vision. See what I want to do with the team. Then support him. Then if he does well, they can invest. For him to bring them to this particular level, it shows that they have a plan. They have a steady plan. You might be surprised they are going to move probably to the 3rd on the log next season. So what I keep saying is that bring a coach that has a plan. Support him. Let the whole fans support him. You might be shocked. Look at what Bologna is doing in Italy. Look at what Leverkusen did in the Bundesliga. Look at what Arteta did in the last 4 years with Arsenal. So my own is that let them have plans. Have plans. Support your team. Back your coach.
But let me check you on this matter now. Why didn't it work in the Premier League for a certain Red Devils? Why didn't it work at Manchester United?
It's the plan. It's the plan. When the Hag came in, everybody thought he's going to play the IS or the possession-based game. That's what I thought that is going to happen. Then suddenly he comes up one day and says, I'm going to play the Manchester United way. I keep asking, what is the Man United way? Nobody actually
football.
It's not.
It's
No.
Possession, progressive attacking football.
It's
Man United way is win the game.
It's win the game and crossing. That's what basically. I'm crossing, using the wings and cross. That's why they have fast wingers. They keep buying Anthony, Rashford, people that have pace to bomb. But for me, what he would have done is to have played his own style, what he was sure that is going to work for him. Bring in players that can fit into that squad, and probably he might be doing well. Trying to play the Manchester United way will cost him. Even though today I don't even still know what that Manchester United way is, but he should have played because he's the coach. Everything rises and falls on the coach. Arteta said, "Hey, this is what I'm going to do." He's doing it. Pep Guardiola came in and even when Pep Guardiola went to Bayern Munich, he changed the whole system. They weren't playing possession-based football. They were.
Now, don't forget that when Pep Guardiola came to Man City, even before he came in, one of the first statements he made was that he's getting rid of this man, a certain Joe Hart, and there was one in England.
He needed a ball-playing goalkeeper. That's what I'm saying. You have a plan. Come execute your plan. It does not matter if you fail, but at least you did your own thing. That's what I'm saying. So for Pep understands. That's why he's been building on this particular thing, and he's building now. He won the Champions League. He won and he's probably going to win the Premier League too. So for Ten Hag, he needs to just play his own style.
Would you now say let's stay on this matter a little bit. Looking at the game yesterday, Arsenal versus Manchester United, the way Manchester United acquitted themselves in the game, even though they suffered a loss at home, at Old Trafford, the way they acquitted themselves, you bring in an Onana and you make him an underutilized player. Because Onana is basically they are not using him for the ball playing abilities, even though yesterday we saw him come up to the halfway line with the ball.
If you are going to have a goalkeeper like that, you must have a player to receive those passes.
You must have defenders.
Do you understand?
In that case now, are we now saying that Manchester United did not follow, let me say, the plan or the path? They jumped a few steps and brought in an Onana.
That's what I think.
For me, it's a process. It's a process, and I think they jumped a few
If we
steps.
say it's a process
It's
now,
a
if we
process.
say
They
it's a
jumped
process,
a few
then you
steps
follow the steps, you
because
follow the
you
process.
brought in the likes of Lisandro Martinez, who is also good on the ball. You saw the confidence. He's calm like
It's good on the
Saliba.
ball, but
You
height
saw-
advantage is an issue.
He's
When those
he's
crosses
winning
come
headers.
into
now
the
look
18
at
of him,
it.
that's why
He's never lost any area duel in the Premier League.
He's always
When fit.
contesting.
He's never lost
yet
an area duel yet
Yet.
in the Premier League. And you say the height.
Not that he has- he will never lose or-
if height has really affected him, he would have been losing area duels. He's never lost an area duel in the Premier League until he went on injury.
But ultimately, injuries have actually affected Manchester United. You cannot say if they actually did well and did not do well. But injuries have actually made the process a little bit shaky. So I think he should stay one more season. When all his fit players are back, then probably they buy a few players. If he does not perform, he should go. They should sack him.
Okay, he should stay, and after
Yeah,
that,
just
he should
this
start.
one
He should
they have a lot of
start
injuries this season.
Let's talk about the French Ligue 1. Nice took on Le Havre and they won 1-0. Brest played a 1-1 draw to Reims. Lyon won against Clermont-Foot. Lille won against Nantes 2-1. Monaco played a 2-goal nil against Montpellier, and PSG lost to Toulouse. Toulouse, who we know is always losing games, won against PSG, and Marseille won against Lorient. Strasbourg won against Metz, and Rennes are playing a 1-1 draw against Nantes. What do you talk about the PSG game? We talked about Mbappe leaving, Mbappe staying, and last night we saw a different result because we were expecting them to win at least. Let's just continue with the winning record till the end of the season.
I think last night they got a taste of the future without Mbappe.
Mbappe played.
Even though he played, forget about that Mbappe played, forget about that, and that he even got on the score sheet. But they got a feel for what the side would look like when Mbappe leaves. You know, some things happen and you see them as omens in the game. So I'm happy that Mbappe got his send-off, you know, with the fans and all that. Manchester United, not to come back or drag us back, have a culture of getting players off the team without giving them that final hurrah, which is very, very bad. But he got that yesterday, but, you know, it still wasn't enough to stop them from taking a loss that yesterday. But kudos to what's their name now? Kudos to Toulouse for getting the 3 points against PSG. I felt PSG having bagged the title, they weren't pushing on to close out more games with wins. They were okay with where they've already achieved in the league, and that kind of gave Toulouse that pressure to, you know, take them on and get the win.
PSG, everybody knew that they are going to win the league. They are going to win it, even though this Mbappe thing affected them a little bit, but finally they won the league. I know they are going to win the league. They're probably going to win it next season. They'll keep winning the league because I can't see anybody challenging them in that league. Even though Mbappe will leave, he said he's going to leave, but who is going to challenge them? Is it Monaco or Marseille or what? Nobody has the financial power.
There was a time Leo came up to challenge them. That was
No, the problem is that they have money. They could practically sign any player they want, even though players don't want to go to France because of the league. But they have money to burn. They have money to spend. They can buy any player they want. It's just that
let's not forget that the money did not help them when a Lille side took the title.
That's what I'm saying. So they are going to be top 2 team in France for a very long time.
Definitely.
Until other things start. Probably they start getting investors, people buy them and invest in them. They cannot challenge PSG, but for now they are running away with the
champions. Yes. 6 points to them. They topping the table with 6 points and already announced champions.
They give them the cup.
They give them the cup with 1 game at hand. We have Monaco second place, 64 points.
They have Lille third.
58. Brest, another revelation of the season. How do these teams manage to pull these stunts? Brest at 4th on the table, fighting for a place in the Champions League. Same points with Lille. We have Nice, 54 points, 5th in the table, and we have Lens and Lyon.
Let's not forget that France has been a super incubator for football in terms of young talent.
Bringing talent up, yes.
Definitely. So
True.
Definitely these teams like Brest, teams like Lille, teams like Nice, teams like Lens can find a few young boys here and there in the streets of France and bring them into their side and take their game up a notch. There's also shrewd managers in the league who are looking out for deals, players with 1 year left on their contracts, players who are looking to move, and all these other opportunities they use to bring in star players. So, but kudos to them for finishing where they finished this season. Let's see if they can build on it. One of the things we see in French football is that some teams just blow up for one season. They are one season wonders. Other teams just come in and dominate and stay where they stay. So let's see what next season brings for the side.
We're still talking about Mbappe here. He's still the highest goal scorer in the French League One, followed
Obviously.
by
Yeah,
Jonathan,
27 goals.
19 points, 27 goals, and Jonathan David, 20 for Lille as well. We're talking about Lille, who is also generating players, 19 goals. We have Lacazette for Lyon with 17 goals. These are people that probably didn't make a double-figure goal standard in the Premier League. Talking about Lacazette and maybe except for Aubameyang, who's also in the table, 4 goals. He's 16 goals, and he for Marseille for that matter. How do you talk about these people who didn't really perform well in the Premier League, going to other leagues to shine?
It's to be expected. It's to be expected because the Premier League is a different ball game. But the factor is not just your singular performance because it's a team sport. It matters the team you play for in the Premier League. It matters if you are giving time on the ball. Yes, I'm coming. It matters if you are giving time on the ball. It matters the role you are giving in the team, because you can score 20 goals in the League On. You come over to the Premier League and the manager just wants you to play as a backup. Coming on for the main guy. How can you score your bucket loads of goal in the Premier League when you're just coming on as a basic squad player? So it depends the team you move into. It depends the style of play, if it fits your style of play, if the manager trusts you enough to start games to come in for the team, and also it depends on your own performance when you come in the face of all these facts. How do you respond? How do you acquit yourself as a football player? All these things count.
Okay. Thank you for your support. Thank you. We will be here tomorrow to give you updates on what happened in today's game. We have the likes of Barcelona taking on playing today. We have Liverpool taking on Aston Villa, and we'll give you the rest of the results tomorrow morning as you join us on YouTube at Vote FM Sports and on Facebook at Vote 1043 FM. Thank you and have you tomorrow.
Welcome to Vote 104.3 FM.